Hi, this is Brandy from It's a Miracle Beauty, and this is my palette collection for February 2020, and it is, as of now, I did already declutter. This is post-declutter. I didn't film that declutter because I had done it first and then decided to film after, so this is just what is remaining. So I did sort these by brand. I'm going to do them brand by brand as much as possible. If I miss one, I will try to collect and go back, but I think that's pretty much what I'm going to do. So I'm going to do my palettes that I only have one of versus a collection of, and do it that way. That way the only thing left is the collections. So I'm going to start with Ruby May Cosmetics. I did receive this in a box. I can't remember the name of that box, but it's Ruby May, and I got the Mood palette. I absolutely love this. These three right here are stunning. Actually, really all of them are stunning, but these three I really love, and this is not going anywhere anytime soon. Next I have, this is just a little, is this Maybelline? Yeah, this is just a little Maybelline like drugstore type. This actually works really well. When I did a palette a week, I used this as my cheapest or smallest palette. I can't remember which one. And it's just a plain neutrals palette, and it looks fantastic. I absolutely love it. So again, this is great for travel and purses and stuff, so I leave it. One that's very new to my collection, I did get it last month. No, not last month. December. I keep forgetting it's February already. But this is a Viseart, and I got it on sale at Sephora. This is the Petite Pro 3. Next I have a Catrice. This one I've actually had for quite some time, but it's not been used. It's just purely for research if I need a drugstore version. This is a very close dupe to the Naked Reloaded. I'll show you that one. So it is a very close dupe to this one. Not exact, but pretty close. Next I have one that's by Style London. This is a dupe for Huda Beauty. I looked online and it's about $9.99 or $9.99 in pounds. So it's like a drugstore dupe. It works really well, honestly. It's not bad at all. Great for dupe videos though. Smashbox. This one is the Major Metals. This one actually is one meant to be used at your fingertips. It actually gives you an instruction in here. Works really well. These aren't my favorite, but they are good. One that I have owned for over a year, actually it's been 15, 16 months, is Marc Jacobs. Trying to get it open. This is the Glambition. I bought this, I think, in the holiday season of 18, and I don't know, it's not even the formula. There's something about the way these shades mix that I just don't care for. I have used them on their own, but I don't typically, like this one it broke some and I used some, so it's just not my favorite palette. So next one I do love is Butter Lun. I believe we got this in BoxyCharm. I absolutely love the green in this one. I use it a lot. I use all of it, but that in particular I love. This is a LA Girl Nudes palette. I actually have never tried this. I have no idea how good it is if it's not. I got it really cheap on sale and haven't used it yet. Next I have the Burgundy Bar by Maybelline. This is not even opened yet. It is still sealed. I basically have it purely for research and comparison. Next, I have a Wander Beauty. This is Seascape. I actually really like this one. You can see I've dug into every single shade. They're pretty good. I don't really have any complaints at all. Nice system. Next is the CoverGirl Chocoholic. I have bought, I think this is my 4th of these overall in the various revisions. So it's just a good standard palette. Lasts all day. Not anything to write home about, but also nothing, to complain about. Very consistent is the big thing. Next, my only Too Faced palette I have left is the Gingerbread Extra Spicy, and I do love this palette. I think it works fantastic. And now my only Dominic Cosmetics, this is the Celestial Storm. It's the only one I have left now. I did part ways with 2 other ones that I just didn't care for the, what's the word for it? Like the color scheme and everything. This one, the shimmers, I immediately when I saw it, I wanted it. They're absolutely stunning. So that is all of my solo ones that I only oh, that's not. I have one Moschino and Sephora. Just want to pick this up. This one, the black over here came broke, but the rest of these work really well. I don't have any complaints about them, and it does have a color switch, which I love. And then just to knock them out, I'm actually going to do my single shadows. This is the second time I filmed this. The first time I did not put my single shadows in it. These are actually from a Tarte palette, Glam something, and I was trying to depot it, and I've just given up because they're so difficult to depot, and I broke so many. So that is that one. These are various singles. Like I have See, this is ColourPop. Mainly I have ColourPop and Guard Rain as my main. That's ColourPop. That's Color Rain. So mainly I have ColourPop Color. This right here is a Lorac Pro 3, I believe. And I did depot that one. And I only lost a couple. It's pretty good. Then I also have this one. So this is singles. These are the 3 of the ColourPop. These are more of that not Color Rain, Lorac Pro, and these are like purple and pinks. Then over here I have my blues and greens. So those are my single shadows. Next I have Violet Voss. I have the Pro Eyeshadows palette. This is the perfect neutrals palette. I do absolutely love it. It's stunning. And then one of my other favorite palettes, like the other colored one by Ruby May, is this one. I absolutely love these yellows, greens, and oranges. So if we move on to some other brands, I do have 2 of the Storybook Cosmetics. I have the Briar Rose, which looks like that. I have not played with this one yet, but then I also have the Robin Hood, which I have played with every shade but this one, and I absolutely love it. These came in, they sent me 2 BoxyCharms in December for some reason. They sent me a Luxe and a regular, and not complaining, I did email, and they didn't have any issue with it, so I do end up with 2 of those. So I only have 2 Morphe palettes left. I do have the Jaclyn Hill Original. This one is heavily played in and well loved, and I absolutely adore it. And I have the Morphe Jeffree Star. I actually got rid of my Jeffree Star palettes. I had the Blue Blood and the Blood Sugar, and they were just too monotone. I never would reach for them because I wasn't doing a red look and I wasn't doing a blue look. So this one appealed to me. It really isn't very versatile. There's so many neutral shades. It's not very versatile because they're not really a good range, but I do like it, especially these greens. I absolutely love. So next we have Fenty. I do have quite a few Fenty palettes. I actually have all of the Snap Shadows. The Snap Shadows actually look like this when they're snapped together. So if I snap them apart, they do look like this. So this is one. It's a purely neutrals palette that doesn't have anything, you know, additional, no pops of color. This is the Cool Neutrals palette. So that's 1 and 2. 3 is, I forget the name of this one, the Deep Neutrals, and 4 is the Rose. I'll show you these. Oops. Having snapping issues today. So that's the Deep Neutrals, and this is the Rose. Which, this one is probably the one I will use the least. I'm just not a super rosy red person, but I did want them all. So this is 5, and this is the Peach palette. I actually love that one. It's really pretty. 6 is the Smoky. 7 is Cadet. This is my favorite overall. And 8 is the Pastels, and I actually like that one too. Next, I have the Galaxy palette. I believe this was her first one. I didn't get this till late 2018 when they put it on sale for $29. No, I got this one in the fall. It's the other one. What's the name of the other one? Moroccan Spice I got in 2019, like in November, December. This one I actually got earlier, maybe September, October. And this is all shimmers, and it is a good companion one. I don't do full shimmer eye looks, so it's not one I use by itself. Next is the Moroccan Spice by Fenty Beauty, and I do love this one. I think it works really well. I haven't used it an absolute ton, but the colors I've used has worked really well. Next, we have Juvia's Place. My first Juvia's Place was the Nubian palette. It actually was well loved, and honestly, it's my go-to neutral palette. I really do love it. That one and the Violet Voss are my favorite neutrals. I then purchased the Zulu palette, and this one is one of my favorite for colorful looks. Next, I purchased the Saharan 2 at Juvia's Place. This is one that's like neutral with pops of colors. This does have deeper tones, and I've only used this middle shade so far, but it worked great. I do like Juvia's Place formula. This is the Nomad. I did get this in December. I think it was late, yeah, it had to be December. I'm trying to think. Late November, early December range. I did have free points at Ulta. I did use them on that. So next I have Natasha Denona. I don't have a huge collection of hers, but I do have a few. The only real palette, the only large full-size palette I have in Natasha Denona is the Metropolis. I absolutely love this palette. It is, every time I use it, it's stunning and gorgeous and works fantastic. I'm kind of sad it's limited edition. I do have all 7 of the mini palettes. So these look like this, and I will show you the insides of each. So the first one I got was the mini sunset palette, and it does look like this. I've had no issues with this, no blending issues, nothing. Then I purchased the, where is it? Yeah, this is it. The mini gold palette. This is my favorite. This one right here is so soft you can actually like push it back in when it gets kind of pulled out a little bit. But this is absolutely stunning, and I love all 3 of these shimmers. They're fantastic. Next, I purchased the nude palette. Actually, I think the lilac was before the nude. This one I got on sale for half off, $12.50 at Ulta in December. Then was the nude palette. This one's very similar to the sunset with a little bit less red tones in it, or one less. Then all 3 of these were a purchase with gift cards that my husband gave me. He traded points on something and received gift cards at Sephora, so I was able to buy the mini glam palette. And these were very recent, so I have not tried these yet. The Natasha Denona's Tropic Mini. Can't wait to use that green. And the Star palette. So that's all the Natasha Denona. Next, I have Pat McGrath. The only ones from Pat McGrath that I have are part of her Miniature Ecstasy collection. I have Sublime and Subversive. This is Sublime. This was also with those gift cards. So I have not used it yet, but I am excited to. And this is the Subversive. I love this. Actually, I've used a ton of this and a ton of this, and they don't even show that much use. I have used the yellow. I don't think I've touched the brown yet. Maybe the red. Then I have Jouer. So Jouer, I have 2. I have the Essential Jet Set, which is just a travel neutral palette. Nothing really to write home about. Actually looks, again, similar to that Catrice or the Naked Reloaded. Same type of tones. And I have the Jouer Ultra Foil, which looks like this. I have not even used this, which is ridiculous because I've had it, I think, since August, maybe even July. So that's one I'm going to put in my kind of look at drawer and use drawer. This is one I got on Ulta for clearance. I think I paid $5-6 for, and again, use my points. So I haven't used it yet. It's on my list to use, and it's foolish that I haven't used it yet. Next, I have the Avocado Palette. I actually can blame Teresa is Dead for this one. I wanted it really bad. You know, I like it, but it's not my favorite palette. I do like the various greens that are in it. They're unusual, and I don't know that I have any of these greens in any other palette, but it wasn't what I thought it was. This one was my first Makeup Revolution palette, and this is the Makeup Revolution Ultra Eyeshadows. This one, I keep the paper in it because the paper actually has the shades, but it's just a neutral palette. Works well. I used it quite a bit before I purchased a lot of other shadows, and works well every single time. Next, I have Colored Rain. I actually have the Queen of Hearts palette. This is one of my later purchases in 2019. I have used it. I do like it. I think it works great. I do love their formula. I did purchase the Colored Rain Power, the series finale. They did a collab with the show, and it's absolutely stunning. It's for purple and pinkish looks. It's absolutely one of the best palettes. In my pan, in my concentration last year and this year, is the Beauty Rust. I did use a lot of this shade and some of this shade, but I want to continue using them and see if I can add pan in 2 shades. Last is Smoke Show. I did receive these in my Colored Rain mystery bag. I gave one away for a contest on this one. And when I filmed this prior, I actually set it backwards. A friend let me swatch hers. That's why I haven't used this one. Not that I swatched and gave away. It just came out sounding funny when I recorded this the first time. There's that one. Next, I have Naked Reloaded. I did get this with a huge discount at Ulta in the late December range, like right around Christmas after Black Friday. This one has a lot of dupes, but I don't like the Naked palettes, but I do like this one. I think it's really good. Then one of my favorites by Urban Decay, or actually overall, is the Naked Honey palette. I've used this a ton, and you can barely see any use. I mean, it literally looks good every single time, and these 2 golden yellow shades are awesome. Probably one of my all-time favorite for palettes is the Naked, or not Naked, Urban Decay Born to Run palette. This one is absolutely stunning. It has pretty much every color you could want, and it's just gorgeous every single time. Next, we have ABH Norina. I'm just going to combine these two since it is the same, you know, type. So Norvina, this is the collection 3. It is the bright one with the neons and everything. I like this one. I have no issues or complaints with it. I've used it quite a few times, especially these shimmers. And I think it works good. I know some people had issues I've not run into yet. There are some shades I probably will never use. I have the Carly Bible palette. This is one I actually had planned to return. You can see I'm getting close to paying on that shade. But I had planned to return, and then I decided to give it a shot and fell in love with it. This is one of my favorite palettes I've ever owned. And I am using this as a concentration palette for 2020. Then I have the original Norvina. This is not my original palette. I actually broke my Norvina palette, so this is a replacement, and I have not used it yet. Next is Sultry. This is probably my least favorite. It's not because it doesn't work well, not because there's problems. It's just really generic, and it does look similar to the Naked Reloaded, and it's just having two of the same palette. I probably will end up decluttering eventually. And next is Jackie Aina. I love this one. I initially was kind of intimidated by the deepness of the tones, but it looks good on all skin tones, and it honestly works really good. Next is the Modern Renaissance. This I feel is like a classic. It has the, you know, for lack of a better word, romantic tones, the pinks and the Valentine's Day type stuff, and works well. No complaints. Next is the Amrezy. I did use my points to purchase this when it came out. I do get double points being a credit card holder, plus I am a diamond, so I earn points pretty swiftly. These two shades, the Liddy and the Gemini, do not work worth a crap. I've used glitter glue, I've used everything. The other shades work really well, but it's just really annoying having two shades that I cannot even use. It's quite frustrating, to be honest. And when I found this prior, I did post it. If you saw, I said I only had one Tarte palette. That is wrong. I actually finally went back and figured out where I had shoved some palettes in the back of a drawer that didn't look like they were back there. And I actually have 3 Tarte palettes. So the one I showed in the previous time is my Tarte Pineapple. And I do have Hit Pan here. This is like a face and the eye palette. I think it works really well. This one's close to pan. And I do plan on using this as a concentration piece in 2020. One of the first Tarte palettes, if not the first Tarte palette I bought, was Don't Quit Your Daydream. And this is one that I travel with whenever I need to take makeup on the go. And then in Tarte's recent mystery bag, I did receive this one. What is the name of this one? Clay Play Must Haves. This is actually, again, a face and eye palette. Works well. Dose of colors. I have the Blushing Berries. And this is just a matte berry tone palette. Works really well. Her mattes are amazing. I love her mattes. Baked Browns look like this. This one I've used way more than the Blushing Berries. And then the one, again, one of my all-time favorites ever is the Dose of Colors Friendcation. I mean, like, this one's close to pan, this one's close to pan, that one's close to pan, this one and this one have good use. It's just a really good palette that is functional and consistent, and I love it. Huda Beauty. The first Huda Beauty I ever had was the Nude palette. I didn't care for that one. I ended up selling it to a friend with very little use in it, so she was pretty happy. But I did receive in my Ipsy, the Huda Beauty, this is the Coral Obsessions. I really like this one. I think it's really good. I actually want to use this yellow soon. Such a pretty yellow. I then purchased the Mercury Retrograde? Metro. This one I really like. I have not used it a ton. It is newer. I got it in December, but I really like the formula and I thought it worked really well. One I'm kind of frustrated with and trying to decide if I want to keep is the Huda Beauty, the Neon Green. And this one is because these shimmers suck. And I don't know if I'm doing them wrong. I mean, I've been using eyeshadow for 25 years or more. And I know how to do wet brush, dry brush, finger, you know, the whole deal. And I just can't get them to work. So I want to try it some more before I decide to return though. So my last section is Too Faced. No, I already did Too Faced. ColourPop. So I had the Double Entendre. This one I actually got on a special and I have not used yet. It's really pretty. This is one that was on my list for a really long time and then got it and had a ton of other palettes and I haven't touched it. It's so productive. I have the Just My Luck palette. This one I actually use pretty frequently. I really like it. This yellow in here is absolutely stunning and these 3 work really well. The other ones probably do too. I just haven't tried them. And that is the Just My Luck. I have the Blue Moon. When I when I sold the Blue Blood, I actually purchased this so I would have some blue eyeshadows in my palette. I have not used that yet. Actually, honestly thought I would have used it by now. Same thing with the Honey. I actually love yellow tones. Yellows and greens are my absolute favorites. And so when I can find one, I did. And then the last one, again, one of my absolute favorite palettes I've ever purchased in my life. I probably, in my top 10, I would say probably 6 or 8 of them have been tonight. And then I have the So Jade. Is it So Jaded? Yeah, So Jaded by Kathleen Lights and ColourPop. This one has like every color you could ever want to use. It is just a good palette. I do not use this one and this one that have the pressed shimmers or pressed glitters, but all the rest work really well. And this one I've used a ton, and this one I've used a ton. So these are all my eyeshadow palettes as of 2020 February. I did not do my single shadows in those because those are in the other video, but I did, however, add my Adept palettes in here because I technically keep them in a palette board. So if you like videos of collections, unboxings, declutters, bite-sized reviews, things like that, click the subscribe button and ring the bell for notifications. If you like this video, please click like, and I hope I see you again soon. I do have a comparison of two very similar products that I've not seen online yet coming up, that probably will be coming out this week, as well as I have coming, I think, like 6 or 8 boxes to review. I haven't been getting all my boxes for about 3 or 4 months, so I'm kind of excited to start that again. I'm on a no-buy except for boxes and a little bit of allowances within my no-buys, so it's going to be a rough year for that because I suck at no-buys, but we're going to keep it going and try to improve. That's all we can do, right? Have a great weekend, guys.